Nimesh, okay. In addition to owning the #1 RE/MAX franchise in the state of Texas, no big deal, you are also the team leader of one of the most successful and productive real estate teams in the city of Houston. How do you pull off this amazing balancing act?
Ooh, I don't sleep. I don't sleep. Well, first of all, just thank you for having me here, Jimmy, Andrew, and your whole squad. And looking around this room, I know a lot of you guys, but there's a lot of people I don't know. So appreciate you guys just actually wanting to listen to some of us up here. You know, the guys that have spoke before us, they're all talking about leverage. They're talking about what they want to do in life and things like that. And look, I've leveraged myself in a place where I want to do other businesses. So yes, I have my brokerage as a business, but I also have my team as a business. There's other things that I want to do as well. And so the more you leverage, the better it is. And that's a quick plug on the virtual assistants. I definitely have a lot of those.
Nimesh, good markets come and go, which we all know if we've been in real estate for a couple of years. There are likely quite a few people in this room who have been in the industry less than 5 years. And, you know, we're all feeling a little antsy right now. So as a broker who has seen many markets shift throughout your experience, what would your advice be to those who are newer in real estate right now and may have a little bit of apprehension of what is going on in our market?
How much time do we have?
You have, the clock is there. Take your time.
No, that's a great question. You know, I have a couple of key words that I'll say. Number one thing I'll say is patience. You know, too many times in today's world, we're just not patient. You know, we're looking for that thing right away. We're not willing to put it, and it's not about just real estate, you know, not just about work. It's about everything. You know, it's that we want that instant gratification. And that's not going to happen. And you look at people like these guys next to me, you look at Jimmy, you look at all these guys, you know, some of the successful ones around the room, it didn't happen overnight for them. It's a lot of patience, okay? So yeah, you don't want to hear that. That's not anything profound, patience. But then the next thing I'm going to say is, again, not too profound, but you have to work. There's not one person in this room that's doing really well that has not worked every single day. They get up to work every single day. When you see somebody and, you know, you kind of maybe want to emulate or copy them a little bit, and you do it for 1 week, but you don't realize they've been doing it for 5 years or 7 years or 10 years. So you have to get into the mindset of taking this job seriously. You know, these guys are talking about hiring the right people. They're talking about corporate people. They're talking about professionalism. Well, that's what you have to treat yourself as too. You know, you already heard it 100 times. We are our own business. Well, if you are your own business, then stop saying things like, oh, well, I'll get to this. Oh, it's Tuesday. Let me do laundry today. Let me do that. You have to treat it as a true job. And then the other thing I'll say from one of my coaches, Jared James, consistency is undefeated. So as you're going about every single day, consistently getting up to make the calls, consistently going out and visiting builders, consistently getting on social media and posting something, consistently trying to educate yourself. If you're not doing any of this consistently over a long period of time, you're not going to make it. And I'm not trying to be negative to anyone in this room, but if you do all of those things and you have that patience, I guarantee you will, okay? I'm not anybody smarter, and I think I'm going to use this line that I've heard Ronnie use so many times. I'm not smarter than everyone in this room. I'm definitely not. But I work my ass off over and over and over for years and years and years, and so do these guys right here. And that's what it's going to take. That's definitely what it's going to take. So don't get caught up in all the BS that you hear from the media. Don't get caught up in your other agents that are going to be negative and all of that that's going on. Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Surround yourself with people that are positive, and then mastermind with them, collaborate with them, and then make sure that y'all are consistently doing something. Have activity every single day.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Back to collaboration. I mean, this year has just blown my mind. Like I told you earlier, just collaborating with people, especially agents that produce more than I do. I mean, it has just been so mind-blowing and game changer for my business.
Can I say something else here? So I've got to tell this story very quickly. sometimes you look at, and I'll be honest with you, right? Even though the word legend is up there, I'm not a legend, but these guys are.
Y'all are all legends.
Jimmy is. But I'll tell you, sometimes you look at these type of legends, right? And you're like, wow, look at them. But you know how easy it is to call one of these guys? And they will answer your phone, and they will talk to you, and they will share with you, because they want to do that. They want to make the industry better, but that's just type of people they are. When I was getting my license in 2002, the funniest thing was, I was sitting in my Champion School of Real Estate class, just sitting there bored, whatever. And then this guy comes in, okay? And he comes in just to talk to us and just tell us about what's coming up in the industry. And I just looked at him, and I was just right away, he just attracted this energy and this motivation and all this. I just looked at him like, I want to be him. I want to be him. And so once I got into it, gotta put that on silent, buddy.
Business calling.
I'm talking about you. So once I got my license and I got into a Remax, and I went and looked him up. And I promise you, I don't know if you're ever going to remember this, but I just called him out of the blue. I called him up. He actually answered my phone, and he just talked me through things. He talked me through a lot. And I was just a baby agent at the time. And then when I'd see him at conventions or at events or anything like that, he would always make it a point to come talk to me and just see how I was doing and all that. So reach out to people. That's what you've got to do.
Love that. I found that to be true. Like, everyone that I feel is above me, when I call them, I'm always shocked that they answer their phone. But if you give wisdom to people, then people want to give wisdom back to you. So thank you for sharing that. So Nimesh, you, I have been told, are the king of social media. I'm the queen, by the way. So follow me, Laura Bunk, on Instagram. Follow Nimesh. Apparently he's the king. But how have you incorporated social media into your business? And do you think that has really increased y'all's sales?
Ooh, okay, absolutely, yes. I'm not the king of social media, but what I will say is I'm very consistent on it. I'm very present in a lot of people's minds all over the country. I get referrals literally every single week from all over the country. Every single week I get referrals, okay? We're all talking about, all three of us, we're talking about people, how important people are in our lives. Well, today's day and age, we're just not as connected, right? We're not really making phone calls to people. We're not chatting with people. We're not talking to people as much. So for me, social media is that way to connect with not just 10 people at a time. Now I can connect with 2,000 people at a time, 1,000 people at a time, right? Whether it's getting a message out, or whether it's I'm looking at every single morning, every single evening, actually all throughout the day. I'm on my social media probably 2.5 hours a day, honestly. 2.5 hours a day. And I know what's going on with the world. I know what's going on with my friends and their kids and their dogs and my fellow agents and all of that. Like, I know what's going on. So when I'm in the know, that's my way to connect with people. Because ultimately, we're still a people business. We're still a connection business. And so social media has helped with that. Now, as far as our social media and how it's boomed, it's literally, I'm not one of those guys that can get onto like you see Andrew get onto a video and he'll speak into the phone. I can't do that. But what I can do is have somebody record me doing it. So like right now, as we're talking here, somebody, usually my social media guy will be sitting right here and he'll just be recording me, and then we'll take clips. So I do little things like that. And then the other thing that I know people love is just making fun of me. So I make fun of myself on social media. But ultimately, as I'm doing that, what am I doing? I'm staying top of mind. I'm staying present in so many people at the same time, like in front of so many people. And that's back to that whole consistency. If you're not using social media, and especially if you're thinking that, okay, I'm not getting a return on it. Yes, we have to track everything. We just talked about looking at numbers. We do track a lot of it, but you do have to do that. It's part of our world, guys. It is part of our world. If you don't like Facebook, you don't like Instagram, you don't like TikTok, you don't like all that, who cares? Because the world does, all right? The world does. So you have to be all over social media. And yes, the answer is unequivocally yes, as far as I'm getting so much business just from connecting. And then something else too, I've got to say this when it comes to social media. I don't care what you do. Be authentic, though, and be yourself and be real. Put it out there. Stop looking at videos and re-editing them 18 times. Just put yourself out there raw, okay? And people will connect to that a lot more, and then forget about engagement. If you're not getting engagement, who cares? I guarantee there's a lot of voyeurs out there that are just watching you. I promise you. There's so many people that come up to me like, hey, I loved your last video. I love this. I'm like, you're on my Instagram or you're on my social media? I didn't know that. But they're watching. People are always watching. So stop thinking that you have to get so much engagement, so many likes, so many loves, so many comments. You don't. Do it consistently. It will eventually be there, but don't worry about that. Just get started now.
Yeah. I love that. I'll follow up on what you said. I do a ton of videos on my social media. I hire a videographer. We do content days, and I'll shoot like 20 videos in one day. And then I just have stuff to pump for the month. And I don't always get all the engagement that I would want. And I'm like, man, only, 100 people liked this, or some is like only 20 people liked this. But every time I'm out and about, someone stops me and they're like, oh my goodness, I saw that video about blah, blah, blah. And so I don't know, for me, and Nimesh, maybe you could follow up on this, but I don't know if Instagram is the reason that I get more sales, but I think it's just another spoke that when I'm at my kid's school or I'm at church or I'm wherever I am and I see people that I know, then they see me and it's something to talk about and they connect with me. It's just another spoke that reminds them what I do.
No, it's absolutely that, but it's also you're relatable now, right? You're approachable and you're relatable. Look, I know there were some hands that raised earlier that you guys buy leads, right? Nothing wrong with it. If that's your business model, that's your business model. I'm not that guy. I'm that guy that I'm a touchy-feely, hey, look at you, look at me, hug. I'm that guy, okay? So the more I put out there of who I am, what I'm about, the more I run into somebody and they already kind of know me. I love it. I'm not even making this up. There's a guy out there in the back. Noe, are you here? Yeah, there he is. Raise his hand. He literally walked up to me yesterday. I was at a dentist appointment. Remember, I'm in Sugar Land. My dentist appointment is in inside the Loop, in Montrose area. And I'm at a dentist office, and he just walks up to me yesterday. Why is that? Because he's seen me on social media. I didn't know him. I met him yesterday, right? And now I see him here. He's like, oh, you're speaking tomorrow at our EXP event. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll see you there, So, people are watching. I didn't know him. We're not friends, but that's the kind of stuff that keeps happening. But the fact that he was able to walk up to me, it makes me feel good because I'm not out there saying, oh, look at me, I'm this, I'm that. I'm not. It's just look at me as a person, and then we can connect. Because ultimately, we're still trying to connect with people, aren't we? So. That's
such a good reminder. I love that. Okay, this question's for Nimesh, but I feel like I kind of want all of y'all to answer it, and Nimesh, you can kick it off. What are your thoughts on the current real estate market that we're in, and what are your predictions for 2024? And I'm going to add my little spin to this question. If you were a new agent or a young, not a legend agent in the market that we're in, we all might be a little bit slower than normal. What would you recommend we do? I am encouraging my team. They hear me hounding them every day. Yes, post on social media, but that's not the only answer. Pick up your phone, call people. That's what I'm telling them to do. But I think a lot of us are wondering what y'all would do. And if your answer is the same as mine, what would you say on the phone? I would love to hear from all of y'all.
Ooh. I think a lot of this starts with educating yourself, right? You don't want to get caught up in here's what this media station said, and this is what this media station said, et cetera. You need to know. The whole point of us being real estate agents is that we're supposed to be the local experts, right? You guys know that. Our license, to have a license means you have to be a local expert in your area. To be the local expert, you need to educate yourselves on what's going on with not just the local market, but then overall market and how it's going to affect your local market. So the more you educate yourself, the better. I'm going to give you guys the simplest, easiest tip first and foremost to educate yourself. We're all, for the most part of HAR. HAR gives you a free subscription to Inman, okay? Inman has articles for days and days and days and days, but there are some good ones in there. And you're you're going to formulate your own idea after you read 3 different articles about what's going on with the mortgage business, right? They might have 3 different things. I heard somebody earlier talking about the mortgage business, but then yesterday I read something that says it's not going to come down anytime soon. Now we're looking at 2025 because of the 2 wars that we're in and the election coming up. But you have to have conversations like that with your clients to be able to educate them. They're not going to just sit there and say, I think Lance said he didn't like real estate professionals because we weren't really professional back then. We were really just salespeople. Well, that's going to come across. It is going to come across when you're talking to somebody. So instead of actually trying to force them to buy a house, sell a house, rent a house, lease a house, you should be educating them. And as you give them all their options, you educate them, then they're going to make their decision. You're never going to force anyone to do anything. But then they're going to use you because you didn't force them into something. You educated them the proper way, and that's what part of the social media part that I'm talking about. Show that you're the expert out there. But as far as newbie agents, I'll tell you, if you're brand new or less than a year or 2 in the business, and I'm not counting the last 2 to 3 years, okay? Anybody can just show up and write their name on a contract. That's what happened in the last 2 to 3 years. Don't think that you're like a great agent because of that. Everybody was doing that. But if you're a newbie agent, what I would do, number one thing I would do is I would latch on. I would latch on to a mentor or a team, okay? I don't care about splits. I don't care about numbers and how much Lance is taking or how much Ronnie's taking or Nimesh is taking from you. Don't look at it like that. Look at it as how many opportunities are they going to put you in front of, right? So that's the number one thing I would do. If you're trying to do it on your own and you're sitting there like comparing numbers and okay, well this split's better or this firm is better, you're not doing it for the right reasons then, okay? You need to figure out how to learn every single day, and the only way you can do that is to be, Laura, you're talking about your team. You're sitting there educating your team. Well, most agents don't have that. They don't have that. They don't have it from their brokers. They don't have it from their team leaders as much. So find that environment for you. And then the last thing I'll say before I hand it off is back to the patients. I think we were going to be fine, okay? Not that I think we're going to be fine. I know we're going to be fine, but that's only if you want to put in the work. I was talking to, some of you guys know Michelle Posey. She's with EXP. She's on the HAR boards and stuff. And she gave me some numbers yesterday. I was asking for it. Last year, you guys know how many real estate agents, not memberships, but how many real estate agents were part of HAR? Any guess?
38,000.
50,000. 50,000 last year. You know how many there are today? 42,195. So 8,000 agents have already dropped out of the business so far this year. 8,000. And that number is going to keep going. It's going to keep going. Don't be one of those. Don't be one of those, okay?
I think the market's terrible and you should stay home, give up, turn on the TV and listen to the geniuses on TV about how terrible the world is and how terrible the market is and how terrible we all are. That's an easy thing to do as far as realistically. I never turn on the TV. I can't stand it. I read a lot. That's where I get my news because then I get more of the information and I can decide how I believe it and how it fits in with my reality. People have to know you first off. So if you're in real estate, every single person you know or run into should know that you're in real estate, which means you also have to be professional, act professional. That's why I would never put my name on my license plate because I don't want them knowing that was me.
Your car is parked outside the bar till 4 in the morning.
Well, it's not that. But I might, in the old days, I might be the one that cut you off, ran over, honked at you, whatever. Now, in the title business, of course, we had absolutely record years through all of COVID and the refinances and all of those things. And then the market starts dropping. And at one time we had 8% of the market. So 8% of the homes that closed in Houston, Texas closed at Great American Title Company. That was great. I wanted 10, but it was great. 8% was great. Now it's 6.5. And, people talk about, well, business is off. And I say, look, we got 6.5% of the business. There's 93% more out there that we need to go take away. I mean, that's the way you have to look at it. That's my business. It's not yours. It's not the other title companies. That's my business. I want all of the business, and that's just the way I've been driven. So if you're satisfied not doing very much, well, then you're not going to do very much. If you're driven to do more, regardless of, when I got in real estate in 1988, which was the real Great Recession, not 2008, 9, and 10, which was a blip. This is nothing. We sold 52 homes our first year. The average sales price, $50,000. $50,000. Average commission, $1,500. Times 51 is about $78,000. How in the heck did you live on it? Things were cheaper then. But I think it starts right here and right here. If you think it's bad, then it's bad. If you've got a positive attitude and get your butt up and go to work, it'll be okay and you'll be fine.
We had our annual planning advance last week, and doing research and stuff, I had a song that popped in, and it said, "Tough times don't last, tough people do." And I've taken that motto. Do you know that there was 6,883 single-family homes sold last month? Tell me the market's bad. Like, at the end of the day, everybody in this room could do 3 to 5 transactions easily and still not hit 6,000. That's just September. And so you look at that and take your unfair share. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, I don't like people, but I know that I have to lead generate. So tennis was a passion of mine. Now it's pickleball. Play about 4 to 5 days a week. But I have the Loken Group everywhere that I have. Like, yours on the koozie. I wear T-shirts that have the Loken Group on it. I don't have to talk to anybody, but they all know I'm in real estate, like Ronnie said. You know, that's my method of lead generating. And you have to do that 2 to 3 hours every single day. It's not the most fun thing to do, but you have to be consistent. Be consistent with boredom.
That's great. All right. I've heard a lot of themes of consistency up here. Carrie, do I have time for one more question? No? Okay. Well, y'all, this was amazing. I took a lot away from you guys. I am going to get all 3 of your cell phone numbers now that you've offered for me to call y'all with questions. But I hope y'all got a lot from this. I certainly did. It was at least just an encouragement to me to just keep pushing on, being consistent. I feel like we all fail at that, that it's hard to be consistent. So thank you guys for sharing just your journeys and your success and any wisdom that you guys shared. I know a lot of us will take, and we're going to be up here legends one day. I know we will.